Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fossiano, and today, this is my last video on international whiskeys. We are going to leave India and we're going to head over to Wales, and we're going to be taking a look at Penderyn Madeira Finished. This is a single malt Welsh whiskey. This is coming in at 46% ABV. It's non-chill filtered, it's natural color. It doesn't have an age statement. This is matured in ex-bourbon, and then of course the Madeira casks. 750 milliliter bottle, and I paid $60.11. No, I paid $74.99. Just like always, let's go ahead and pour it, nose it, taste it, talk about it. And if you stay around until the end, we're gonna go ahead and give it a score. All right. Typically, I usually smell something before I actually get it up to my nose. And to tell you the truth, that's not a very pleasant smell or aroma that's coming out of this glass. And it smells like beer, like really strong beer, almost like a stale beer. I'm also getting banana runts. I'm getting some banana and beer, which is very, very strange coming from a whiskey or a single malt. A little bit of ethanol, get some vanilla, like a creamy vanilla, but that's strange. The dominant note is very much beer and very much banana. I don't think I've ever had anything that came across as beer. I think what's the one from San Francisco. It's a single malt, not St. Augustine. It'll come to me in a second. St. George, that's it. St. George, I thought had a vegetal note that also my initial thought may have been beer, but nothing as strong as this. It smells like the foam of a beer. Like if you were to take a sip out of a beer, but don't get the beer, just kind of suck in the foam. That's kind of what I'm getting here. And I just hope that's not going to be the dominant thought in my head as I go through this whole thing. But back behind that foamy beer note, there's vanilla, there is a creaminess to it, and then a little bit of banana. All right, let's go ahead and get it on the palate, see if that comes through on the palate. All right, unfortunately, it did. That is beer foam, vanilla cream, a little bit sharp, spicy with the ABV. The banana runt note is not there. The malt is now coming through a little bit. And there's a little bit of bitterness on the side, which is always good, but this might be a little bit over the top and not much of a finish to be talked about just yet. That was my first sip. I am going to get a second sip in here and see if that changes at all. Then I'm going to add some water to it, talk a little bit about Penderyn, and then give it a score. Let's go ahead and get that second sip. All right, on that second sip, the initial note that I get is barrel bitterness, then some malt. I don't get much sweetness at all. And then I get the beer, then a little bit of vanilla, then that touch of creaminess, and it's a little bit spicy. That second sip is much more spicy than that first one. A little sharp, maybe a little drying, and maybe some like tannic notes. Yeah, I'm not necessarily digging this all that much. And maybe I just can't get past that initial beer foam note. All right, let's go ahead and add some water to this, talk a little bit about Penderyn, and then give it a score. Give it a healthy dose of water. Roll it around. Let that sit for a little bit, and then get some information out. Now, this is new to me. So based on the history that I researched, it looks like the Welsh distilleries, when the whole whiskey world collapsed, kind of decimated Welsh whiskey in all the distilleries. And apparently this came out in 2004. And prior to that, I think the last Welsh distillery closed in 1910. So it was quite a while before the whiskey scene rebuilt itself in Wales. And interesting enough, Penderyn is actually building two more, and they already have built two more distilleries. So they account for 3 distilleries in Wales. And apart from them, apparently there are 5 other distilleries. And I'm not exactly sure if the information is accurate as of like today, since I'm shooting this, but they have an entire woman distilling team with blenders and distillers. This one is the Madeira cask finished, and they do produce a sherry, peated, port, and some other cask finishing offerings as well. And the next piece of information here is well above my pay grade, but apparently they boast having this unique copper pot still. It was designed by Dr. David Faraday, and I think it has something to do with output. I can't remember the name of it, but apparently it was like 96% push rate or out rate. And I'll go ahead and put the name of it right here of what that whole thing is, the 96 thing or the 90 something percent. Again, above my pay grade. I don't really necessarily know what that means. If you know what that means, let me know in the comments down below. All right, and that's pretty much it for the information on here. Let me go ahead and get this one last roll in the glass. Nose it, taste it, and then score it. All right. The beer note is still there. A little bit more of the creaminess is coming through, and the banana runt note is now taking a back seat, and I get a little bit more spice. All right, let's go ahead and get it on the palate. All right, I think the water did a little bit to this. I don't get that beer note. Good amount of spice. That barrel bitterness is tamed down. I get the vanilla. I get the malt. It's rounded out quite a bit. I still get a little bit of sting on the tongue as far as, I guess, being a little bit sharp, but it has toned it down quite a bit. I think I like this experience with water than without. All of those notes just seem to blend together a little bit nicer with water than without. Let me get one last sip in and then we'll jump to the score. Yeah, it's decent. It's not great. Good amount of spice, good amount of barrel bitterness or barrel char or barrel influence on the side. Good spice, medium finish, small little hint of the beer, the vanilla, the creaminess is there. Overall, again, the water rounded it out just a little bit. So where I'm at with my score. Well, if you're new here, my scoring system is out of 5 stars. Of all of the international whiskeys that I've had to this point, most of them fell into the category of 3 stars. And I can't say that this is any worse or better than the 3 that I scored with 3 stars. So with that being said, I'm going to give this 3 stars. Even though I gave the New Zealand whiskey 3, I would reach for that over this one. The Kavalan, I gave 3, and I think I would reach for the Kavalan over this one because of the raisins, dates, and figs, because of the sherry notes. And the New Zealand whiskey was peated, so I would reach for that over this. And then the other one that I gave a 3 to was the Eiffel, the German single malt, and I would definitely reach for the German single malt over this one as well. But I can't drop this down below a 3. I definitely think it's going to be a pretty average single malt. I think giving it a score of under 3 would not do this justice, because I do think there's some characteristics in here that are pretty good. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna give it a 3, but I would definitely reach for all of the other international whiskeys before I would reach for this one. Are you familiar with Penderyn? Are you familiar with any of their other offerings? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this information and you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Just go ahead and click on the little subscribe button right there. Turn that bell notification on, because I produce and release videos 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that's a wrap for the international whiskeys. So wherever you are in your journey, I hope you're enjoying it. And from this point forward, my Monday series is going to start covering single barrel bourbons. So until then, we'll talk to you later. Bye.